Emmett Montgomery. I am a comedian and storyteller. I also like to help facilitate spaces and communities for weird stuff to happen, especially voices that I think should be elevated. Oh, this is Donna. She is 13 years old. She is a chihuahua. And she is really good looking for a 13-year-old chihuahua. I don't know if you can see, but she has beautiful eyelashes. She's kind of like the Helen Mirren of dogs. Yeah, she takes Viagra 3 times a day. It's a heart medication, and that's what it started out as. It's a pulmonary aid essentially, and with blood flow. And people just got distracted by the side effects, but they're going back to using it for heart stuff, and it's really turned her around. We were told about coming on 6 months ago. She had an incident, and we took her to the emergency veterinary hospital that we were essentially bringing her home to say goodbye. But I mean, she's a little cranky, and she's probably on her retirement tour. But she's around. The Viagra really helps, and that is an interesting prescription to fill. Huh? You're doing great. I like weird stuff. I like fun stuff. I also think it's important to talk about your feelings. Uh, Once I did a show in a weird tiny theater in Burien, and there were 2 women waiting for me, 2 older women after I got out of the show. And the first one came up to me and grabbed my hands and was like, "You should consider being a pastor because of just the hope and the good works that you do with your words." And we talked a little bit, and I explained to her how maybe that wouldn't be my bag. And then the woman afterwards was like, "Hey, I just wanted to check in and make sure you were okay, because you went to a real dark place up there." Those women were, one was sitting behind the other. So that's, there we go. Open your hearts. Oh yeah, that's how I like to bring a performer up on stage, and then and then after they go off stage, I encourage the audience to celebrate them. I think that's what we should do. And I also think that especially with live performance or any art, that we need to make ourselves vulnerable to what's happening, because it can be fun or scary or dumb or brilliant or sad or joyous and all that. But it's really like consuming art. It's a conversation. It's agreement between 2 people. So you have to be ready to participate, even if it's just listening. Um, so that's a thing. That being said, you want to curate what you experience. So if you look at something and you're like, "Can I open my heart to this?" and the answer is no, figure out why and maybe seek something else out. I think when you ask a group of people, a group of strangers to do that, it sort of lets them know that maybe it's okay to do that, and maybe they're in a place that is, it's part of taking care of everybody, which is what we need to do. Well, I think all comedy, well, all art is political. I think all comedy is. I mean, you're putting it up there. When I first started, uh, early on when I was doing stand up, and I got married, I made the decision to talk positively about my marriage, which surprisingly a lot of people weren't doing. There was a lot of, "Oh, my horrible wife," stuff. And in fact, I was told by people I was opening for, like, the audience doesn't want to hear that, uh, because they have to go home to their horrible wives. But a lot of people were, uh, excited about that. In fact, I was branded a feminist comic by just by the fact that I wasn't being awful to women. Like that's how easy it was back then. Now it's different. Yeah, I think you have to actively be there to elevate those and use your privilege. A lot of times I'll do that by putting people on stage or vouching for people or bringing people along with me. And it's, I think, a really way to normalize a lot of this kind of fear and bigotry is people just have to realize that humans are human. And the best way you can humanize someone is allow them to showcase them being their kind of best and most who they are. And so I think a lot of the most political stuff I do is be quiet and let other people do that. I mean, for instance, last night we had two very brilliant trans women on stage, and the fact that this is a space where trans women, which are one of the most imperiled demographics in the country right now, feel that they can go down and be themselves is wonderful, and we need to create more space like that, and we need to normalize humanity. It's not so much that I love a bidet, I just hate toilet paper. It's just it's real. I mean, I think everybody, hygiene is a need. Clean buttholes are something we deserve. People complain. I mean, that's the big thing. Oh, well, they poop on the streets. Like, where are they supposed to? If you don't give somebody a chance, especially, I mean, I think a lot of people have no problem with feeding the homeless, but you're just solving half their problem or solving one problem and giving them another. Like, what are they going to do with that sandwich when their body is done processing it, right? So, but I think part of it too is we have made this thing that everybody has to do extremely shameful and taboo to talk about, but we have no problem complaining about all the problems. I think sharing basic human rights, like a place to go to the bathroom. I didn't have a regular address for a summer, and part of it too was figuring out where I was going to shit that day, and or shower or all those things, and it was exhausting. The fact that we can float through life knowing, oh, there's always a bathroom to us, it's a huge privilege. That would be so great if it was. If there were lizard people and the Illuminati was real and there was some sort of plan, would be wonderful. Like if it was an agenda, if it turns out we were just being fed into some, like that we are all going to be, led into a glue factory. But the fact is, I don't think we are. I think that we have ignorant and hateful people who, for whatever reason, never developed empathy or have made the conscious choice to put aside the very human element of kindness for power, or just are incapable of. Yeah, I mean, I think real shitty selfish decisions come from not looking at the big picture, which is just other people are there. I think that's exactly the type of thing we need. We need books that tell important stories, and we need fun and silly stuff. And I think that silliness and goofiness does not eliminate importance. So yeah, we need more books, uh, because I mean, what else are we going to burn when civilization crumbles?